Whatever you're imagining, you're scrolling on social media that you stop and you're like, wow, look at that. That was done on purpose. They know that this is something that will get people watching and want to come out and spend their dollar to experience.
There's never been such a powerful tool for user-generated content to reach a brand's intended audience with a very authentic voice at such a widespread scale.
Welcome back to Experience Imagination. I'm your host, Audrey DeLong. I'm recording this a couple of weeks after IAAPA Expo 2025. During the show, I had a chance to chat with two really impressive theme park content creators. You might know them as Coaster Studios and Park Pros, but I know them as Taylor Bybee and Cole Brown. They are both coaster enthusiasts and have a lot to say on the subject, but we dug into other parts of the business too, like how they create videos that resonate with a broad audience, and how theme parks in other countries differ from the ones we experience in the United States. I love talking to them, I fed off their energy, and I really needed that at the expo. So thanks, guys. And I'm so glad we could share those conversations with all of you now. After that, we have a fantastic lightning round guest today, Skye Kelly. She's our in-house content producer who has a blast creating videos for our social channels and helping out with all things production related around the office. Skye doesn't like to be in the spotlight, but she agreed to step outside of her comfort zone to answer a few of my wacky questions, so stick around for that. I'm here at the Falcons IAAPA booth with Taylor Bybee of Coaster Studios.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good, happy to be here. I love coming to the IAAPA Expo. It's always so exciting to reconnect with people that you haven't seen since sometimes the last IAAPA Expo. And it's just really cool seeing all the innovative concepts that everyone's coming out with. It's always a great time.
It definitely is. So tell us about it. You've been covering theme parks, coasters, locations all over the world for 13 plus years?
Yeah. So I started the channel at the end of 2012. Coaster Studios is primarily YouTube, but we do have other social media outlets. But at this point, we have over 300,000 on YouTube. We go all over the place, trying to just cover theme parks. We're big fans of this industry, and so we like giving coverage to sometimes places that maybe fly under the radar.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I think I read somewhere that you've been on over 1,000 coasters. What's the actual number right now?
I'm almost at 1,300.
What?
I have like 3 to go, and I'm like trying to find a way to make it the big milestone, the new Falcons flight at Six Flags Qiddiya, which is the new world's tallest, fastest, longest coaster. Breaks all the records, and I'm like, if there's some way I can somehow line this up, that would be like the craziest thing ever.
Yeah, so that 1,300, that's just coasters, that's not dark rides.
Yeah, just roller coasters. And every single one of those is unique. So no doubling up on the same ride.
So tell us about your trip to the United Arab Emirates. I know Dubai was on your list for a while. What did you experience there?
That was my second time there. So I spent most of my time in Abu Dhabi visiting Yas Island, which Maral is the operator there. They have 4 theme parks, 3 indoor parks, 1 water park. But I also did visit Dubai for a bit. Before I visited, that was like my top like bucket list city, just because I'm a big fan of just like the crazy architecture, and it was kind of like mind blowing how a place could develop some of these experiences. And so because it gets so hot out there, they rely on a lot of indoor attractions. And so as a result, they also do a lot of themed experiences. They have what feels like sometimes just a much higher budget than maybe some parks that we might be used to.
Sure.
And so some of the things that they've developed are truly incredible.
Yeah, we're talking about themed experiences because it's not just theme parks, like you said. These can be found all over the world in a lot of different places and a lot of different incarnations. So do you think we're going to continue to see an uptick in these types of places, and how do you think they're going to evolve?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super cool how we have kind of the evolution of themed entertainment that's venturing outside of the theme park space. Have you ever heard of Team Lab?
I have.
Yeah, so it's, I believe, a Japanese company. I first did one in Tokyo called Team Lab Planets, and it's like a sensory exhibit where you go through different spaces, and it is the most immersive environment, but it's immersive in a way that it's not static buildings or anything. It uses so much projection mapping, and they opened the newest one is in Abu Dhabi, about 20 minutes from Yas Island, pretty close to downtown. And if you're a fan of themed entertainment, like this is a must do. And we were seeing people from all over. It truly appealed to all sorts of audiences. And it was one of those moments where I was there, I was like, we got to get one of these in the United States or something, similar like that. I think that is a great example of the trajectory that we could see the themed entertainment space moving past. It's not just theme parks. It is, any sort of activity or event, something that you consider like a family outing.
Yeah, I want to talk about your channel and your
Yeah.
content creation and what you do for a living. So, first of all, tell us what ways do you differentiate your channel from other coaster enthusiasts?
Sure. So I would say first and foremost, we place more of an emphasis on cinematography. So I went to school for digital cinema. So like that was before I was ever into roller coasters. That's what I was interested in. I was the little kid that was running around the house making home movies. And I was self-taught with editing until college. In school, there was never an option for that.
That's crazy.
Right?
It really is.
Yeah, it was always like, at least in my school, it was, all right, we have all these different types of music classes you can take. I have no musical talent, so that was a no-go for me. And then it was theater, and I did some of that. And I think that's also, I give that a little bit of credit why I think I'm a bit more lively, maybe
Yeah.
on camera. And doing this for so long, I think has really helped me kind of perfect what I am trying to achieve with my goals of the site, which I think is to, I think educate is a great one, and also raise awareness for properties, because when I first entered the YouTube space, the main content that was being produced in the roller coaster scene was just point of view videos, which nothing wrong with
Right.
point of view videos. There's a reason for that. There's a
Yep.
reason that they're so popular, but I wanted a bit more than that. I wanted something that had more, I think, substance. Like I wanted to hear opinions. I wanted to hear experiences about these locations. And when I entered, I think at a really good time, because there wasn't as much of that going on outside of Disney and Universal, really. And so I think I kind of hit a sweet spot where even with doing it as a young kid, I was appealing to those kids that were younger than me or around the same age. And as the channels evolved, those kids have grown up with the channel, and now they are adults who have a passion for the theme park industry. I meet people all the time. They're like, you helped me get me into roller coasters, and you're the reason I'm seeking a mechanical engineering degree so I can do this
Wow.
full time. And that is one of the most mind-blowing things that someone could tell me. It is so cool. The impact that the channel has had is way beyond what I ever could have expected.
Yeah, you put some long videos out there.
Yeah.
Kind of almost mini documentaries.
Yeah, and actually I have done a couple documentaries.
Yeah.
The big one that we did is we did a film on Rocky Mountain Construction, which is a company that got their start just doing like repairs on wooden roller coasters, and they were trying to find a solution, a long-term solution for preserving these attractions. And so they developed new track technology that was so smooth, and you could actually like transform a wooden roller coaster into something truly special. And they kind of skyrocketed in popularity, especially through the 2010s. And it was just incredible how much they grew. And so we did a film following the family around. Like they're telling their story. And that was one of the most rewarding experiences that we had. It was about the 2-year project. Wow. And I still get people today saying, hey, I loved that when that came out. That was so inspiring. And that is a film that I think truly anyone could watch. And even you don't have to have an understanding of the amusement industry to enjoy that, because at the end of the day, it's just a good old American dream story of how you went from nothing to this sensational company, and it's so captivating, just their story.
I love it. I'm going to have to watch that one.
Yeah, please do.
So, do you think attraction design has changed much since consumer-generated content became a thing?
I would say so. I think that anything that plays well on camera is now maybe more at the forefront of your mind if you are a park looking for a future attraction, because these are millions and millions of dollars worth of investment. So you have to be very thoughtful and specific with your choice. It takes a lot of time to decide how you're going to do this. What is going to be the best fit for your audience? If you can have an attraction that gets your attention, that right, whatever you're imagining, you're scrolling on social media that you stop and you're like, wow, look at that. That was done on purpose. And those companies who are developing it know that. They know that this is something that will get people watching and want to come out and spend their dollar to experience. I think a great example is what Vekoma is doing with their tilt coasters. Perfect, because it is that OMG moment where the track disconnects from the backside and the train is just hovering there in the air and everyone's out with their phones going,
Yeah.
whoa, and
On the ride or down?
down on the ride. But like, so Cedar Point was the first one in the U.S. that
Yeah.
bought this new generation of model, and I think that was a slam dunk decision for them because this is
Yeah.
a roller coaster park. People go there for the thrills. That's their DNA. And how do you do something different when you already have so many attractions? You do something that'll blow people away, and it's so fundamentally different. And that tilt has everyone just standing on the midway going, whoa.
What is happening? I saw a picture of it in one of the IAPA magazines.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I'm not sure I would do that. I know you would.
And I have. It's awesome.
All right, what's the most surprising thing you've learned about or discovered by working with themed entertainment businesses?
I think how much everyone's just so passionate about what they do, because these are people that, like, if you are in the development process of creating attractions, you didn't get here for no reason. You know, you are here because you are passionate just like everyone else. And so in talking with people who create these things, I mean, you have some of the most creative minds in the world, because they're applying technology on a much larger scale and trying to do something that no one's ever really seen before. And it is just fascinating picking their brain about it and seeing how they got to this point, because it really takes a huge team to bring these things to life. And you have so many welders who are helping fabricate everything. You have the people who are shipping it to the job site, the construction crews putting it together, the people on the business side who were actually in the conversations of making this stuff happen. And I was just blown away by everyone who I meet out on the trade show floor and actually at these companies, what they do. I think it is just so cool.
On a day-to-day basis, too, because challenges happen throughout the day, rides shut down.
I've heard so many times, it's every day's different. Really, in the amusement industry, you're in the business of having fun. And every day is what is going to happen now? We don't know.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to ask you to put your prediction hat on.
Okay.
So what do you think we're going to see more of in 2026 and beyond in this industry?
I think family market, emphasis on families. I think that is what sells nowadays. I think, again, going back to the ticket price, to everyone who's coming in, you want to appeal all members of that demographic. You want to create something that people can do together. So you're seeing a push for how can we get that height requirement as low as possible while still being safe and meeting all the code requirements. But I think that it's really caused everyone to get creative. How can we come up with something that is different from what everyone's doing? I think, Vekoma is killing it in the family market game, and you have a company like S&S who's mainly known for the quirky, oddball, but mostly thrill attractions. And they're we want to re-enter the family market scene. So they said, well, if we create a single rail family coaster where you can put your kid up front and the parent can ride right behind them, so it feels adventurous for them, but their parent is still there.
Yeah.
They're right there, and you can just glide around this experience. It's not going to be too extreme for everyone, but most people will be able to find enjoyment out of it. And I think that is definitely something that we'll see more of in the future.
What's a good example of a thrilling family coaster?
I would say something that is introductory to the forces that you might find on a larger scale.
Okay.
So I point to two great examples, one in the US, one in Belgium. So Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood is an excellent example of the standard of what a family coaster could be. So hats off to the teams at Dollywood, and I believe that ride won the golden ticket, I think, for best family coaster. So everyone's clearly in agreement. It is got multiple launches, 39-inch height requirement, so literally everyone can do it. It's as smooth as you can be, and long ride, and you're getting all these twists and turns that, as an enthusiast, I love this. It's a must-do. And there's a ride that recently opened this year, 2025, at a place called Walibi Belgium near Brussels.
Okay.
It was the original Walibi Park, which is a chain. Their operator is CDA, so they have a bunch of parks, Parc Asterix is another one outside of France. Walibi Belgium has a roller coaster called Megalodon that they opened up, which goes out over water, and it's the first of what they call their airtime model, which is a ride that has a higher class restraint to allow for true floater airtime while still maintaining, again, a very low height requirement, long experience, multiple launches. Sometimes they have a hump in
Yeah.
it. So you're actually like feeling those uplifting forces and doing these side to side transitions that is so much fun. And we were watching people, we got to do it this summer, and the amount of people riding this, it was one of the longest lines of the park, and everyone wanted to do it. And everyone wanted to go again. And I think that's a mark of a great roller coaster, not something that is repeatable.
Yes. And anything else you want to add about roller coasters or fandom or your fan base? You want to give a shout out to
No,
anybody?
I appreciate everyone who's followed along with the site over the years, whether you're a new viewer or you've been here since the beginning. It means a lot to me. And anyone who might not be familiar, if you're a theme park fan or a fan of roller coasters, I would love if they could check out our site because, again, we try to cover as much as we can and do it in a way that adds variety. So you might get something that's different than what else might be out there, you know.
Yeah.
And we try to stay as involved in the industry side of things as well, not just the fan perspective. And so we have a lot of videos too where we're sharing, you know, and helping some of these people behind the scenes who made this happen share their story of how an attraction came to be. And those are my favorite videos to make. Those are the coolest.
And how do people find you?
YouTube is the big one, search Coaster Studios, but we're also on Instagram. We have a Facebook page. I'm on Twitter @Coaster Studios. Feel free to go check it out. And yeah, we appreciate it.
All right, Taylor, thanks for being with us
Thank
on
you so
Experience
much.
Imagination. It was fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm here at the Falcons IAPA booth with Cole Brown from Park Pros. Nice to chat with you again, Cole.
Thank you for having me today. Great to be here at the Super Bowl of our industry here at IAPA, so glad to be here.
That's right. Tell us, how long have you been bringing insider knowledge and attraction tips to your fans?
I probably have been going to parks for 20 years all across the country. My family used to do long RV trips to all different places across the country, and I'd always make a stop at different parks. So I've loved it since I was little, the attractions industry. But in terms of my content, I've been doing Park Pros since 2020, full-time for about 3 years now, and started my page in 2020 as a YouTube account, kind of shifted over to TikTok during the peak of that, and that's where I've seen a lot of my success. So
Yeah, we talked about that last time. You probably have a few more followers since then.
a little bit more, yeah. It's grown pretty well the last couple of years.
So what do you think has changed the most in the theme park business since you were young?
I think the biggest thing I noticed is when I was a kid, there was kind of more of an emphasis on theming, even in the regional theme parks, like the Six Flags and stuff. Even if it wasn't, you know, super immersive, well done, there was still a little bit there. And then I feel like in kind of the middle of the 21st century, parks just kind of abandoned that a little bit, especially the regional parks, and the emphasis was more on building the most tall, eye-catching, fastest, most marketable rides, and maybe just doing the bare minimum of theming and naming when it came to that. But I think a really positive trend in the industry right now is, especially the last 2 or 3 years, just this return to more immersive experiences, less thrilling attractions, more inclusive, and just the full package of an experience when it comes to the ride, the story, the experience as a whole. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about now. I started more as a roller coaster guy, and as I've been doing this more and seeing more places, I think the overall experience that a ride gives you is kind of the most fulfilling thing to me. So it's a very positive trend that I've been seeing in the industry.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, the last time we talked on the pod was February of 2024. So tell your fans and our fans what you've been up to. What adventures have you been up to?
I've been all over the place. Like I mentioned, I've been to Europe a couple times. Been to Europe each of the last 3 summers, actually, just checking out different areas there. I went to Australia this past May, which was pretty interesting to see the parks there and some historic rides. And I just came back from Abu Dhabi last week, which was a really cool experience. That was my first time in the Middle East and just all of Asia, actually. So the parks there are incredible. But I think really like the landmark pinch me moment over the last 2 years was the getting invited to the grand opening of Epic Universe.
Oh, okay.
That was that was a phenomenal week. I love that park so much, and the love and effort, and I mean the Takeda planning that went into it is just so evident, and getting to be a small part of that grand opening ceremony and like the week's worth of festivities was like the whole time I was just like, wow, I can't believe I'm here right now. And so that I would say that's like kind of the landmark pinch me moment since then, since I've been doing this, really.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, what are they doing right at Epic?
I think they just have the whole theme park experience just pinpointed when it comes to the intentionality with things like food. You know, the food isn't just we need to have food at the theme park. It's the food itself is an experience. Same goes with like the music, every different little pocket of the park having its own soundtrack. The, intentionality of kind of entering the portals and you're entering in a whole new world and there's kind of like a
Right.
glitch in the matrix when you're going under the portal because
Yeah.
you're entering from one place to another. And of course, the rides are pretty much all world class and
Mm-hmm.
some of the best in their category. When it comes to Monsters Unchained, which I think is one of the best dark rides in the world. Same goes with
Yeah.
Ministry of Magic. And for me, Stardust Racers, I think, is one of the greatest roller coasters, if not the greatest roller coaster ever built. So
Wow.
I think
That's
they
saying a
just-
lot. You've been on a lot of them.
I have, yeah. And I just think they did such a nice job with the whole, it's just a really nice place to be.
How many coasters have you been on in the world?
I'd have to check my count, but I'm getting pretty close to 800. So I know you had Taylor on before this. They're not as many as him,
He's
but,
at almost 1,300.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But
that is a lot.
no, it's a
Not that it's a competition.
no, it's a pretty decent
Or is
amount
it?
though. A little bit here and there.
Yeah.
So
All right. So back in 2024, you said you were starting to see regional parks offering more rides for families, overall being more accessible to all age groups. Give us an update on that front.
yeah, I think that is still very much a trend in the industry. I mean, just look at some of the rides that were announced here at IAAPA. You have Night Flight Adventure at Dollywood, being done by Mock Rides. That's a $50 million family-friendly attraction with a 39-inch height requirement. So very inclusive.
Wow.
It's the biggest attraction investment in the park's history. So
Yeah.
that's no small feat. And I think
Wow.
it's, they opened Big Bear Mountain back in 2023, I believe. The same sort of idea. We're going to make this ride thrilling and as fun for as many people as possible, but also get, kids as young as, 4 or 5 on the ride as well.
Yeah.
So I think, and to that point as well, look at what Legoland just announced at their California and Florida parks, 2 $45 million indoor roller coasters with a height requirement of just 40 inches. So I think it's definitely still kind of at the forefront of the trends in the industry, this kind of all-inclusive family entertainment.
Yeah. So, how do you think fan content and channels like yours influence the way parks announce news and engage with their audiences?
Yeah, I think it's become almost unavoidable the last couple of years. Even sort of the late adopters now, I've noticed, have kind of given to the fact that, outlets like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts have this just almost immediate impact to reach so many people. And not only that, but also get immediate feedback on what people are thinking about the parks and attractions, especially when it comes to new attractions, when it comes to, the comments, how things are received. And there's never been such a powerful tool for this user-generated content to reach a brand's intended audience with a very authentic voice and at such a widespread scale. There was a lot of hesitation at first to kind of embrace that style of content, which is so different than long-form YouTube or even traditional media like podcasting, radio, television. So,
It's funny you lump podcasts in traditional now.
well, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both because, you have the clips of the certain, parts of the podcast. That's a really good way to make short-form content. And,
Right.
I mean, everyone listens to podcasts as well. So, but I think it's just more so they've been around for a long time, whereas short form is still kind of in its infancy a little bit,
Yeah.
the last 5 years or so.
Do you think IP attractions will continue to dominate, or will original concepts make a comeback?
I think you're seeing a little bit of the original concept starting to make a comeback. I mean, obviously the biggest event of this year was Epic Universe, which is 4 massive IPs stuffed
Yeah.
into one park, right? But I think beyond that, if you look at some of the smaller players than like the Disneys or Universals, you have even just like here today at IAAPA, you have Kings Island bringing back one of their original IP dark rides that was beloved by fans. And I think Six Flags in general too is, especially with the Cedar Fair merger, their creative team seems to be embracing more of these like original IPs that are either regionally related or related to the park's history, things like that. So I think it's really cool when a park can come up with, a ride that encapsulates not just like the feel of the park, but also creates like an entirely new world or experience. And I think the Dollywoods, the Silver Dollar Cities do a really nice job of that traditionally. Even like Knott's Berry Farm does a good job of that.
Right,
as well.
yeah. So, what is one of the more surprising differences, or some of the more surprising differences between theme parks in the U.S. and parks in other parts of the world?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, I'll use Europe as an example specifically because I've just been to the most parks there. I think parks in Europe are more focused on atmosphere and theming rather than the ride itself. And like we said, there's a little bit of a trend of that going on here in the US, but I would say most regional parks in the United States are amusement parks, whereas most of the regional parks in Europe, for example, are theme parks.
Oh,
To their
okay.
core, they're more about the theming and the experience and the different lands that you walk into. And in the United States, I would say it's more so about the rides in these amusement parks. So that's the biggest difference, I think. And then that kind of trickles down into like the food you see in Europe. The entertainment is fantastic at the parks there, even these small regional parks. Each of the ride has kind of like a unique story or background to it or ties into the land that it's a part of. And I'm speaking generally here. This isn't every single park, but
Right.
I think there is much more of an emphasis on kind of environment and theming overseas than in the United States. But like I said, that trend is kind of trickling its way to the U.S. a little bit.
Yeah.
I've noticed. So
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. What makes a video from an amusement park go viral?
I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, obviously you have the visuals. I mean, I always start my video out with the strongest visual or most eye-catching thing that a park offers. For me, in my content, every time I visit a park, I try to pinpoint what makes this park special, what's its story, what is going to pull at people's heartstrings or interest when it comes to, either an interesting visual, a cool ride that they have that's unique. What's the story of that? Or maybe this park is from the 1880s and it has a really unique history, or maybe it's family owned and the park has had a tumultuous history trying to keep its doors open. So I think every unique attraction has a really cool story, and that's what I try to hone in on my content. And I think that's what parks are starting to learn is getting people through the turnstiles as well.
So it's time to get your crystal ball out.
Okay.
All right. What major shift might we see in the industry over the next few years?
Something I'm noticing now, and I think is going to become more prominent, is the almost like destinationification of these like larger parks. So, for example, if you look at Universal over the last 10 years, before that they had islands and studios, right? Which you could kind of realistically do in a day or two, and it was almost kind of like a side trip that people would take, like almost like a break from their Disney trip,
Right.
like a week-long vacation. And I think Universal has very intentionally tried to take that week-long vacation market away from Disney with the additions of Volcano Bay and now Epic Universe, 4 parks. And
Not to mention including Harry Potter in there.
exactly. So I think you're starting to see with some of these larger regional players, with the investments at places like Silver Dollar City building a resort, Dollywood building 2 resorts within the last 10 years. This effort to become more than just a day experience and more of like a weekend experience or a 3 to 4 day experience with, this resort infrastructure, this investment they're putting into the parks, even across like the Six Flags chain. I think you're going to start to see that with some of the bigger parks, maybe, adjacent resorts or bringing in either FECs or water parks or something like indoor water parks, something that really makes it a multi-day destination. I think,
FEC Family Entertainment
yes,
Centers.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that also kind of trickles into the cruise, the trend of kind of this massive investment that's gone into cruise ships as well.
Right.
With
It's
Disney and Royal Caribbean, and it's kind of the same thing of
Even Carnival.
yeah, of getting people to spend for 3 or 4 days to a week rather than just, the one-day experience.
Yeah, you're just entirely within that ecosystem the entire time. They give you no reason to leave, really.
Exactly, and it's great. Like I really enjoy all those experiences. So I think we're going to see a lot of that in the coming years.
All right, well, we'll keep tabs on that, and we'll check back in with you in a couple years.
Okay, in 2035, right?
Hopefully sooner than that.
Yeah.
All right, it's great to have you, Cole.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And now it's time for our lightning round, where I have a quick conversation with one of our Falcons. Sky Kelly, our bubbly content producer,
Hi.
is with me now. Hey, Sky. Growing up, you wanted to be a writer. What author did you read the most?
Oh, man. This is going to sound so pretentious, but legitimately, my favorite book of all time is Animal Farm.
Oh, that's a good one.
I read it multiple times a year just because I feel it, and I really relate to George Orwell.
Yeah.
And, of course, you know, the Lord of the Rings series. I mean, there is no other than J.R.R. Tolkien.
Well, there you go. Fill in the blank. In high school, I was a blank.
In high school, I was the hippie art kid that hung out with all the goth kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I could picture that.
Yeah.
If you could only go to one theme park for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
I would say either Animal Kingdom or Magic Kingdom.
Next question. What's your favorite comfort food?
Buttered noodles. No matter the shape, size, I don't discriminate. I love them all. Buttered noodles.
Any color.
Oh, yeah. Any color,
Okay.
any seasoning, but it has to have butter.
Okay. If you could be a professional performer, which discipline would you choose?
I would think I would be really, really great at having some sort of variety / educational show similar to Pee-wee's Playhouse with
Okay.
puppets, but make it more educational, a little bit more like Bill Nye. I think I could do a sick 30 minutes on PBS. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This next one is a little wacky.
Oh, perfect.
If you were stranded on a desert island by yourself, do you think you would survive less than a week, a few months, at least a year, or are you looking for the highest point to jump off of before the first day is even over?
I would die immediately. Next question.
That would be my answer, less than a week, for sure, because I don't eat seafood. That would be why.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it. If survival was, at the end of the day, it was all about survival, I'd be like, I guess I'll die here.
Yeah. Guess I'll just die.
Yeah.
No.
All right. I know you have a dog who is just a little cutie patootie.
Yes, that is true for the listeners out there. He is the best dog in the world. Continue.
Okay. If you could add any animal to your household, which one would you choose?
I think I would pick a bat.
Okay.
I love bats because they are pollinators, they are beneficial to any environment that they're in, and they're super cute and fuzzy.
Okay. I like that. All right, Sky, I appreciate you doing this.
Thanks so much for having me. It feels crazy to be on the other side now of producing, and now I'm a lightning round guest, so thank you.
That wraps up our final episode of 2025. Thanks again to Taylor Bybee from Coaster Studios and Cole Brown from Park Pros. And Sky, thank you for being my lightning round guest. I want to thank all of Experience Imagination's listeners for supporting our podcast and for talking to me at IAPA about the podcast. I really appreciate all your kind words. It means a lot to all of us who work hard to bring you a themed entertainment feast every month. We look forward to delivering more great content in 2026. See you then. Thank you for listening to Experience Imagination, a Falcons Creative Group production. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast. Be sure to check out falconscreativegroup.com and follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you have ideas for future episodes or just want to drop us a message, send an email to podcast@falconscreativegroup.com.